Hey everyone and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where today it is time to pick up our third and final new job for Heavensward. Starting off today with our daily minion roulette, today we have the Unlucky Rabbit. Alright then, that's a bad omen. Starting out from near Forton Manor, we're going to be heading down this way. We're going to be going past the last Ethernet shard that we haven't picked up. I'm not going to grab it yet, I'm going to save that for when we go by there in the main story. Probably like the very... Yeah, no, I know exactly when I want to pick that up. It'll be soon enough. For now, we're just going to have to go on foot. I don't want to... I expect people to skip Job Quest episodes that they are not interested in. So I want to leave things like Ethernet shards for main story episodes, which people are less likely to skip. Alright, hello Janet Kanar! I am here to pick up a new job. Greetings and welcome to the Athenaeum Astrologicum. Perhaps you were drawn to this by fate to this place of learning, or perhaps you wish to know more of fate itself. I guess I do want to wish. I do wish to know more of fate. Then you are wise to come hither, for in the stars are written the fates of every woman and man on Hydaelyn. It was there in the stars that I read a woman would call upon the Athenaeum in this very day. A woman who would play a very important role in my own life. But my apologies. Even the most skilled reader cannot scry a name from the heavens. Would you be so kind as to give me yours so that I might know who is to be my newest protege? Yeah, let's give your name. I am Satora Lanzi. Satora, well, I was not expecting that, but what is a name but an attempt by our begetters to wield power over the lives of their sons and daughters? Lives whose paths have already been foretold, in a sense that is. My name is Janakanar de Durandere, and I am an astrologian for the Holy See. Remember that name, for it shall echo forevermore in the annals of Ishgardian history. Well, it will once I put it there, once we put it there. Okay, you've got a bit of an ego. I'm trying to think about which of my characters would actually be picking up Astrologian. Dark Knight goes to Satora. I think Machinist is going to Petra. I was torn between Petra and Sibyl, but I think it would be a better fit for Petra. Astrologian is a healer, which has a reading the fates kind of vibe to it. I'm trying to think, which of my characters would that best fit with? Not Satora, not Petra for sure, maybe Kokonori, maybe Sibyl, possibly Tiat. Not Tiat, no. No, she's a little bit too much of a meathead for this. I'm torn between Kokonori and Sibyl. I'm leaning towards Kokonori, actually. I might actually give Kokonori a healer job, which is interesting, because he's a tank main. Alright, whatever. Enough of my roleplay discussions aside. Janakanar of the Athenaeum Astrologicum simply cannot take his eyes off of us. Now, where to begin? I suppose I could consult my divining deck for an answer, but that would be too easy now, wouldn't it? Very well, at the beginning it is. Astrology, or the reading of the stars, is a branch of ethereological science which originated in distant Sharlayan. There have been astrologians in Ishgard for thousands of years, but it wasn't until 3 centuries ago when Adenal the Younger learned that the movement of the stars could also be used to foresee the movements of the Dravanian horde that the field became popular. Since then, what was once a single science has bifurcated into 2 similar yet ultimately different schools of learning: the Sharlayan school of astrology and the Ishgardian school. The former placing a focus on tapping celestial ether and transforming it into beneficial magics or astromancy, the latter specializing solely in determining the actions of our dragon enemies to the north. I am a student of the former, the only student of the former here in Ishgard, and have been actively seeking a partner with whom to conduct my research. Let us just say that my fellow astrologians here have been less than approving of my path, but that is simply because they are afraid of what they do not know. And once they do know of how Sharlayan astrology can benefit the sea and its soldiers, they will feel foolish for ever having doubted me. Us. You will be joining me, will you not? Walking the path that has been laid out before you instead of stubbornly denying your fate? Postponing the inevitable? Well, I feel like I'm losing a lot of choice in this, but sure. I see you wasted no time making your decision. Like I always say, the stars are never wrong. Alas, even a lifetime of study and training cannot unlock all the secrets written in those stars. Myself, I have been a student of the astromantic arts for more summers than I can count, and I still often misread the signs shown to me in the skies. Though my readings are far more accurate now than they were when I attended the Athenaeum in Sharlayan, Not the Charlian, mind you, the colony that once thrived in the Dravanian hinterlands. I can recall my time there like it was but yesterday. The first 6 moons, I was not even allowed to touch the deck of 60, let alone conduct a reading with the major arcana. Most of my time was spent in the scriptorium transcribing old tomes on astrological fundamentals such as the 6 elemental houses, divine duplicity, class triplicity, house modality and polarity, dignity versus detriment. I abhorred the task and would tirelessly pester my instructors as to when I might actually be granted the opportunity to weave a spell or perform a reading. It wasn't until the end of the 6th moon that I realized all that transcribing had prepared me with the essentials I would need to do those very things. The positions of the celestial bodies within the 6 elemental houses and their relation to the major and minor arcana of the deck of 60. Therein lie the secrets to tapping the ethereal power locked in the heavens. And soon you too will become privy to these secrets. But not this day. No, I would not have you transcribe musty old tomes like I was once forced to do. No, the task I have for you is much more interesting. You see, I am expecting the arrival of a very important guest. My old mentor from the studium has agreed to make the journey from the old world to Ishgard, and speak with the Holy See regarding the implementation of Charlian astrological techniques in city-state defense. I lost the professor and his party are now fully 7 days late in arriving, and I have begun to worry for their safety. Only just now, 7 days later. I should be much obliged, therefore, if you would inquire of the other astrologians here at the Athenaeum if they have heard aught. Oh my goodness, you speak a lot! You talk so much! Okay, so... there's a merchant here? There's a... oh, okay, that makes sense. Anyways, wow, you talk a lot. Astrologian is based on tarot readings, which is a very fun theme to go for a job. Why would Lord Janakanar think I have information on the whereabouts of a handful of unbelievers from across the blood-brine sea? I'm an astrologian, not a fortune teller. I cannot simply look to the stars and scribe the location of the Viscount's guests. Unless his guests are dragons, that is. I suppose if anyone knew aught, it would be the observatorium. We here at the Athenaeum are but students dedicated to research. Those with any influence in our field are assigned to the astroscope. Fair enough, these are students that would limit their capabilities. But also, we're looking for information, not necessarily just fortune-telling. The fortune-telling would also be helpful here. Let me guess, the good Lord Janakanar said he saw you in a vision and that the stars told him you were to study Charlian astrology with him. Am I close? You must be the 100th of his little pets to pester me this week alone. I harbor no ill will towards ignorant unbelievers unlucky enough to find themselves caught up in talk of stars and fortunes, but you may tell that sorry excuse for an astrologian, for the umpteenth time, that I have heard naught concerning his imaginary friends from faraway Charlian. Just do not tell the Viscount I call him a sorry excuse for an astrologian, am I alright? Alright, you will get in trouble, I sense, if he hears about the insults being levied his way. Janakanar is still waiting for word on his missing Charlians instead of actually making an effort to find them, is he? Of course he is. Is it any wonder that in the nearly 15 years since his return from Charlian, his skill in astromancy has remained unchanged? Any wonder that he has never yet managed to convince a single peer of the value of the Charlian school? He is a privileged little sprat who spends more time gazing at the stars in young maidens' eyes than actually trying to read the ones above his head. Alright, you tell the poor man I just returned from the observatorium, and one night at the communal feasting hall, happened to overhear Chief Astrologian Forlamort speaking with one of his aides regarding Charlian. He was visibly upset, and I wasn't about to risk my career over something I care little about, so I merely put my head down and ate my beet soup. But that is all I know, and you did not hear it from me. Fair enough. Alright, so, Janakanar, good news. It sounds like word has reached the observatorium about your Charlian friends. Master Forlamore, and I thought this day could not get any worse. Oh no, I'm not suggesting that meeting you in any way has been unfortunate. It is just that, it may not be in our best interest to be seen together as of yet. There are certain people in the sea who do not approve of my studies. Couple that with the fact that you are an outsider and an unbeliever, and, well, people may come to the wrong conclusions. We must act with caution until we can prove that our intentions are just and for the good of all Ishgard. So I must ask that you travel to the observatorium alone and meet me there. Alright, but I better see you there. Alright, I will meet you over at the observatorium down in Kurth's Central Highlands. Alright, we have arrived at the first dicasterial observatorium of... oh god, it went off already. You know what? I'm gonna read it out of spite. The first dicasterial Observatorium of Ethereal and Astrological Phenomena. Why is the name so long? Ah, Ishgard. I shouldn't be mean. They took me in. They took us in. They're allowing us refuge. Hello, Jenna Kanar. I mean, person I've never met before. We're not supposed to know each other, right? Ah, Satora, allow me to apologize again for not accompanying you here. As for our business with the Chief Astrologian, you may leave the talking to me. Ah, Janakanar, I might have known it would be you. Who else would be so indecent as to drag an outsider into this holy place of observation? You have always had an unhealthy obsession with the foreign. This is why you are as worthless to the Athenium now as you were when you returned from that heathen city of a decade and a half since. But the stars, they can serve us in other ways than merely revealing when the Horde will attack. Their powers can be tapped, the ether within can be used for... The ether should be left be. Has history taught you not about the folly of the Nimians, the Amdapori, the Maki? Sorry, the Waki? I think that's the right pronunciation. And if it's not Wak, then I have been gaslit and lied to. Mine uncle, the Charlians, have been wielding astromancy for ages without disrupting ethereal balance. This power, combined with Ishgardian astrology, could be what is needed to turn the tide of this 1,000-year conflict. Moreover, I have reason to believe that our masters at the Vault agree, as they have given me their blessing to continue my research. I did not come to trade barbs with you, Nungle. Let us save that for another time. I am here because it has come to my attention that you may have information as to the whereabouts of Professor Mace and his party from Charlian. For someone who says he is not here to trade barbs, you have been quite generous in your dealing of them today. If it means you will leave and allow me to return to my work, then I'd be more than happy to let you know what information found its way to my desk just yesterday morn. Serpent Reaver sightings and foul weather prevented the Professor's ship from entering the Strait of Merlthor, where they would have made their way up the Maiden and into Kurthus. After detouring around the south of Vilbrin, they finally disembarked at Vesper Bay, where they took the land route along the Royal Allegan Sunway to the Black Shroud. It is there, it seems, they lost their way. A lost astrologian. Ha! Hang on. What was that route? Okay, it's not in the log window yet. Okay, so. Failed to enter the Strait of Merlthor, where they would have made their way up the Maiden and into Kurthus. God, I need to get out a map of Eorzea. Strait of Merlthor is between... Yeah, between Vilbrand and... Oh! Okay, I think I know where they would have gone. Okay, now I get it. But I did not know there was a port in that area. That would put the port around Cartano that they were originally going to dock at. Interesting. It is as my morning reading predicted. Dalamud was in detriment in the house of... Dalamud was in detriment in the House of the Spire while ascending over the Ecliptic. Story, you must journey to the Black Shroud and assist Professor Mace. Allow me to introduce you to Quimperane. He is my personal manservant and shall accompany you. He is not one for conversation, but his sword arm is amongst the best in all the pillars. He should see you safe if any danger were to befall you, and something tells me danger lurks on the horizon. It is a pleasure to serve you, milady. I shall make haste to Quarry Mill and await you there. Okay, hang on. I want to check something again. It's too long! I can't see the entire message. Dang it. I wanted to see if, I wanted to see if he mentioned that, like, oh yeah, they were in trouble in the South Shroud. Alright, whatever. It would have been funny to see Shana Kanar absolutely embarrassing himself by being like, oh yeah, no, like, I definitely... I feel like there might be danger there, like, moments after his nuncle's like, oh yeah, they're in danger. Anyways, off to Quarry Mill. Let's go find these astrologians. There you are, Quimperane. Hello there. Ah, you know what? We're back in the Shroud. It's much, much warmer here. Also, new feature in patch 7.1. They fixed the glamour plates mostly. They're almost completely fixed. It's so much better now. I'm so happy. Milady, I have questioned the residents of this hamlet and learned that a party of queerly dressed outsiders passed through not but a bell ago. It should not prove overly difficult to find them now, but before we begin, might I ask a moment of your time? I would not dare utter aught ill of my master, but his recent fixation with finding a protege, I believe it ill-considered. This passion, however pure, has left him with more than one enemy within the astrological community. Lord Forlamore has seen to this. I fear not only for how his name might be sullied, but for his life. I beg of you, pray do not drag him any further down into this quagmire. Let him quietly dabble in his dream, but let it remain at that, a dream. No good will come of encouraging him. It will only hurt the Viscount and his family. You must remember that while I serve Lord Janicanar, it is his uncle, the Count, who employs me. Now, as for the task at hand, I suggest we find the wayward travelers and hurry back to our respective hearths. I shall lead. Might I ask you to take the rear and see that none might take us unawares? Alright, on to Snakebolt then. Don't worry, I am right behind you. Ooh, it's thunder in here! Oh dear, what do we have happening? Grandfather! Oh dear. These are the Charlians we seek, and it appears they have found themselves in trouble. On hand, my grandfather! Ah, feisty. We'll fetch a fine price for that one from the pleasure barge captains. Oh! The soul has spoken. Grab the old man. These wizard types carry on them all manner of begemmed baubles and golden trinkets. Up, or I'll toss you to the snakes. You want to see the old man again, you leave us the girl. Try anything and he's dead. Wait! Grandfather's soul crystal. Why would he leave it here, surrendering any power he might have had to free himself from those bandits? Unless you were the one he saw in his reading before we left the old world. But that was more than a moon ago. My grandfather scried from the cards that he would serve as the bridge for countless souls to be passed to another. Might you be that other? These men of the forest are careless. Tracking them will be no difficult feat. I shall follow and strike before they have the time to regroup in numbers. The stars have spoken and laid their path not before you, but before the adventurer here. You must take the soul of the astrologian and place it near your heart. Listen to the tales of those who walked before you and know their journeys as you do your own. As for the tools you require and the knowledge needed to wield them, I, Leveva, shall see to those matters. You saw there was no fear in my grandfather's eyes when the bandits took him. This is because he has seen you come to his rescue. Our lives were written in the stars long before we trod upon this land. It is not by chance that you stand here today with the soul of the astrologian in your hand. It is fate. Alright, and we've unlocked Astrologian. Astrologian got a major redesign with Dawn Trail, and I have not actually had the chance to learn it yet, or practice it all that much yet. So we're gonna be learning this from scratch. Here, let me just toss on some clothes. We should probably also run back to town and toss on a better glam. And then we can get started on learning how to play Arcanist. No, not Arcanist. I see Arcana Gauge and my brain autofills Arcanist. No, Astrologian. Okay. Gotta dismount to put on a glamour. Putting on our regular old Mikote clothing. Nope, not overriding White Mage. Alright, let me get this all set up and then we'll start going over Astrologian. Alright, got my hotbar set up. Astrologian's a little bit complicated to play. I find it a little bit confusing, but also I haven't used it in a while, so that is probably on my fault. Okay, going over our actions. We have our roll actions, not going to worry about those because those are the same for every healer. We have Malefic, which is our basic single target damage. We have Benefic, which is a basic single target heal for 50 potency. Combust is a damage over time ability. We want to keep that up, refresh it every 30 seconds. That is 50 potency over 30 seconds, so about 500 potency, not bad. Helios is a basic AoE heal centered on ourself, 330 potency. Ascend is our resurrection spell, of course. Benefic 2 is an upgrade to Benefic. It costs almost twice as much MP. And heals almost twice as much with 700 potency. Moving down, we have Lightspeed. Reduces cast times for spells by 2.5 seconds. This makes most of your spells instant cast. It's really dang good. It lasts for 15 seconds. We get 2 charges and a new charge every 90 seconds. Essential Dignity is a 400 potency heal, which increases up to 900 as the target's HP decreases, reaching its maximum value when the target has reached 30% or less. I think I might put this up there and treat it as the equivalent of White Mage's Benediction. Astrologian has a very, very crowded hotbar, and it is really frustrating to me, especially on controller. Astral Draw draws the Balance, the Arrow, and the Spire from our Divining deck. Also restores 20% of our maximum MP, equivalent to Aetherflow. Actually, since it is similar to Aetherflow in that way, that would free up a spot down here as well. Okay, so Astral Draw is going to be the core of Astrologian's playstyle. Upon execution, play 1 becomes the Balance, play 2 becomes the Arrow, and play 3 becomes the Spire, and Astral Draw changes to Umbral Draw. Shares a cast timer with Umbral Draw and has a 55-second cooldown. So, what will happen is we will draw 3 cards. We can play them with play 1, play 2, and play 3. And what specifically they do, well, let's go read it. So, also want to note that Astral Draw draws the Balance, the Arrow, and the Spire, and then becomes Umbral Draw, and Umbral Draw draws the Spear, the Bole, and the Ewer. So, let's go over these abilities. What do they do? There's a lot of them. The Balance increases damage dealt by a party member or self by 6% if the target is melee DPS or tank, and 3% for all of the rolls. You select a player and give them the buff. This buff is for melees, melee DPS and tanks specifically. The Arrow increases HP recovery via healing actions for a party member or self by 10%. Very nice. Similar to Scholar's Fey Illumination, but for a single party member. Again, all these cards are single party member. You choose who you give them to. The Spire creates a barrier around self or target party member that absorbs a damage equivalent to a heal of 400 potency for 30, and that barrier is up for 30 seconds. Similar to Scholar's basic shields. Okay, interesting. The Spear increases damage dealt by a party member or self by 6% if target is ranged DPS or healer, or 3% for all of the rolls. And I think I want to say ranged DPS includes caster DPS. I think I need to actually check that. The Bole reduces damage taken by a party member or self by 10%, which contrasts with the Arrow, which increases HP recovery via healing actions. And the Ewer grants healing over time effect to a party member or self. So it's similar to White Mage's Regen. There's a lot happening here. So first, The first draw, the Astro draw, gives us the Balance, the Arrow, the Spire. The Umbro draw gives us the Spear, the Bole, the Ewer. So, the Balance and the Spear are paired, the Arrow and the Bole are paired, the Spire and the Ewer are paired. There's a lot happening here. Oh god, that's a lot of effects. Oh god. We will get used to it, I think, I hope. The Arcana gauge using the actions Astro Draw or Umbro Draw will replace Play 1, Play 2, and Play 3 with their respective Arcanum, which will be represented in the Arcana gauge. This is a very complicated job, but from what I've heard from people who main it, it's a very satisfying job once you understand how to play it. Okay, so I put my damage reduction slash heal increase over here where Fey Illumination is on Scholar. And I put my shield slash regen over where Scholar's ground shield is. Partially to keep them out of the way of the lower hotbars because I need a lot of space down there. Partially just for muscle memory with Scholar. And then I put play 1, which is our damage buffs, down by our damage buttons. I hope that makes sense. There's a lot happening. We will figure it out together. I've been a guide in these woods since my 10th name day, yet I never have encountered bandits the likes of these. They are not of the 12's wood. I find it highly unlikely that a sparkling globe will sufficiently protect you from a bandit's blade. Stay back and leave the fighting to me. Speaking of, our weapon is a globe with the cards floating around it. We fight with a tarot deck. We just fight with a tarot deck. A floating tarot deck. It's fantastic, actually. The vibes on this job are immaculate. It's just really complicated to play for me. And also, it is very cluttered on the hotbar as you get to higher levels. Laviva waits patiently for us to pull ourselves together and equip her grandfather's soul crystal. Listen, I've got it equipped. I just had to go over the abilities first. A responsible player goes over the abilities of their new job before they use it. Don't just jump in without thinking and then hope you can figure it out on the fly. At least look at your abilities. It's going to be complicated. You're not going to be able to memorize it all at once, obviously. But at the very least, have an idea of what your abilities do so you can, you're not going in completely blind. Now listen carefully, for we haven't much time. The star globe which you hold is both your sword and shield. It will grant you strength as well as protection. But most important of all, it will grant you insight to the current location of the stars, enabling you to channel the heavens ether into your body for use in all manner of magics. The better attuned you become with the heavens in their malefic and benefic bodies, the better that ether might be manipulated to bring succor or pain. But as you already know, the star globe is not the only tool an astromancer has at her disposal. Yes, the arcana, or more specifically the 6 major arcana, play a defining role in what type of astrologian you will become. Any layman will tell you that the cards can predict a man's future. This is both true and untrue. It is not the future that a card predicts, but the card influencing the man so that a certain future becomes more attainable. Seeking to tell a man's fortune, you draw a card from your deck. Upon reading the card, you scry that the man will be victorious in a coming battle. What it is that brings a man is victory, but ether trapped from one of the lower 6 heavens, granting the man strength, making it all that much easier for him to overcome his enemy. Of course, what card is drawn is linked directly to a target's destiny, as well as yours. Are you the one who will see the man to his fortune, or will you lead him to downfall? It all depends on your reading. Normally, I would not dare cover so much in a first lesson, but it is my grandfather who has placed his life in your hands, and I am not about to watch him have his throat slit because you cannot tell the face of an arcana from its back. We have 2 seemingly capable soldiers here to take the brunt of the bandits' blows. Allow them to carve a trail of carnage while you convince the stars to nudge the 2 in a direction favorable to my kin. I understand this must be a lot to digest, but if you are ever to become a capable astrologian, you must believe in the path laid out before you and in your power to read it, follow it, and ultimately control it. Take some time to acclimate yourself to your new abilities and let me know when you are ready to begin. Alright, we've got a solo duty. Let's do this. I see in your eyes that you are ready. Whether that actually makes you ready or not, only time will tell. Time, unfortunately, is something we no longer have in abundance. Let us take to the shadows and find out where these bandits are holding my grandfather. May the stars be our guide. I'm not too proud to admit this is attempt 2. Do not let these bandits stand in the way of us locating my grandfather. I'm not great at playing Astrologian. I'm struggling a little bit with it. Alright, so we immediately went ahead and drew our cards, and we want to get a buff on Quimperain, and also probably put up just protection on him in general. Unfortunately, there's not really a good role-based way to like remember what each card does, specifically between play 2 and play 3. Oh! This is a card from my grandfather's deck. He's leaving us a trail to follow. Satora, its power is now your own. Alright, let's grab it. The Balance. I almost didn't see the card. Good eye, Laviva. Yeah, these play 2 and play 3 are going to basically always be mitigations, but they kind of swap roles in a way between the Astral and Umbral draw. There are 6 major arcana. We must find the other cards. Okay, we gotta keep an eye out. And it looks like we got a damage up buff from our first card that we picked up. Okay, let's do this. Whimpering? I really wish it was feasible to actually target your party members during solo duties. Look at this crap. This is one of the big issues I have with how solo duties work for healers. You can't target your party members on controller without putting your damn weapon away. It's very obnoxious. Okay, the spear is going to go on me. I believe that is a buff for healers. Okay, you know what? My best bet is probably going to be just use Helios. It's not as good of a heal, but it's way better than trying to target your NPCs when it won't let you target them. Okay, we've got the arrow over there, and the ewer over there. Okay, we got a couple cards to pick up. Oh dear. We got a Will-o'-the-Wisp. Alright. Drop both mitts on you. I don't care. I need to really figure out Astrologian at some point. Here, you know what? I'm going to take a look at this, just to be sure. So, the Astral Draw gives us increased HP recovery, and the Umbral Draw gives us reduced damage. Okay, wait, here's an idea. So, this we want to use when the HP is low, and this we want to use when the HP is high. This we want to use when the HP is high and when the HP is low. So, high Astral on play 3, low Astral on air. Okay, that might be a good idea. That might be a way to remember it. So, high-low and low-high. I'm pushing the buttons without actually pushing the buttons, so that's probably actually not making as much sense as I would like, but I hope that gets the idea. Okay, we are on Astral. High. And give you the Spire. It does not help, though, not at all, that we have to put our weapon away in order to be able to target our dang assistants here. That is a huge issue with healer solo duties. I really hope they fix it. Okay, we've got the ewer. That's 3. Out of curiosity, would there happen to be anything up here? No. Just a wood whaler who's apparently down on the ground. Okay, so now we give high to you from play 2 since we're on Umbral. Okay, that might that might be the click I needed to make Astrologian make sense to me. That's still going to take a lot of memorization, but that makes it a lot easier. High-low and low-high. I guess high-low for 3 and low-high for 2. We found the Bole. That's 4 cards. There's the Spire. That'll make 5. Okay, we are back to Astral. Buff you, and you are low, so give you that. And then give you that just to keep you up. Okay, this is very complicated for level 30. Just because there's a bunch of things to keep track of, but I think I'm starting to get an idea. I really should have done a bit more to learn Astrologian on my main, or how Dawn Trail Astrologian works on my main, before we hopped into this, but oh well. Okay. Laviva, can you, like, not stand? Okay, you know what? You're not taking damage, so it's fine. One thing I used to do with my cards that probably didn't help back in Endwalker is I placed all 3 of the play cards together. But, I guess it wasn't 3 play cards back then. It was a completely different setup. But effectively had 3 player card buttons, or related, that I would put together. But separating them out like this, it actually feels like it is fixing the issues a little bit. Ah, there's a spear. That is our 6th card. And the point where I died is this final spot up here where I only found 3 of the cards. Don't ask. Alright, well, good news. We made it here. We have Umbral, so I'll give myself the buff. Give you high. Okay. Yeah, no, this is working. This is working for me. This is actually working for me, and that makes me really happy. Okay, get Combust on the Bandit Leader, so you've got some damage over time coming. Ah! If I completely detarget without putting my weapon away, you summon a dang Void Sense? Oh god. Okay. Quick, heal Quimbrain. Oh god. Hurry. Okay, if I fully detarget, I can then just rely on the cone targeting system that's set up and actually be able to target my allies. Oh my god. Why is it so bad? It's not an issue with Astrologian, it's an issue with healer solo duties. Oh god. Arcanima Marionette? I guess you are using Arcanima. What the hell? I was not told there would be 2 Astrologians. Enough of this. I am Quimbrain in the employ of Lord Janakanar. I am sent to escort you back to Ishgard. Are you unhurt, my lord? Janakanar, you say? And where's my former student? His constant pestering is one of the reasons I agreed to make the long trip from the old world. I see none but Quimbrain in this adventure. I too have seen no other. Just like you didn't see those bandits until their knives were up our arses. But that is of no matter. It was all as the stars had foretold. Yes, I saw this adventure long before even setting foot on this accursed continent, when the Arcana whispered and told me I would find a worthy successor for my soul crystal. And having witnessed how she eased into her new role, with struggles, but mere moments after picking up the crystal globe and deck... Yes, I knew at once my reading was true, and that this adventure was the Astrologian I had been seeking. But now, let us see if she has the potential for greatness within her. Look to the sky, Satora, and there you will see 6 stars aglow in pale yellow. This is the Bole. This constellation is thought to be the gate to the first heaven, the heaven which holds the World Tree. Planted by the matron and nurtured by the keeper, the World Tree is the source from which all life is said to have sprung. The trunk of the World Tree, or the Bole, grants strength to the weak, allowing them to stand firm in the face of adversity. You have now opened that gate, and its power is yours to command. A solid Bole represents a solid foundation. It is not coincidence that this very constellation has risen to mid-heaven at this very moment. the moment of a new astrologian's birth. And to think I saw all of this a moon ago. It seems I am a better reader of fates than I thought, ha ha ha. But I jest, it has been a long journey with more than its share of unexpected excitement. I am an old man, and one does not need a deck of arcana to see that my weary legs will not carry me much longer. Let us make haste to Ishgard so that I may give that ungrateful Janikanar a proper upbraiding. Whew. Yeah. Astrologian I am weak on. Astrologian is probably my weakest job out of every single job in this game. It is my weakest. I am very excited and looking forward to using this playthrough to get some much needed experience with Astrologian and getting much better with it. Alright then, it looks like we can just head on back to Ishgard, so let's lose this Treant and make our way back. I don't think you really need to be using all the cards in order to actually get through that solo duty, you just need to actually be healing. But I wanted to at least try to play the job properly from the start. It feels like the right thing to do. I kind of threw myself in the deep end a little bit doing that, but It is not a bad job. It is a job which I personally struggle with and find a little bit more complicated than others do. I know plenty of people find Scholar to be a needlessly and horribly overcomplicated job, but I find it very intuitive and easy and trivial to play. So, you know what? Just different people have different brains which work well with different jobs. Oh god, it's cold! I forgot to switch my clothes in the Machinist episode too. I'm so sad. It's cold! Wear your damn coat, Satora! Yeah, I'm still not sure which of my Warriors of Light I'm actually going to give this job to. I'm leaning towards Kokonori. Kokonori currently only has one job, which is Paladin, and it would be an interesting wrinkle might not be the right word, but it's close that I've got right now. An interesting wrinkle in his personality to give him Astrologian. I'm curious what that would do to me writing him. Anyways, Jen and Kanar, good news! I brought Mace and Laviva. They're not happy with you. Also, we got attacked. Jen and Kanar, 15 summers passed and still the flippin' clod I lost half of my hair tutoring. Suddenly an adventure to find the man you summoned halfway across Heidelin. Always taking the easy route. You wonder why you still haven't been able to open the second Heaven's Gate. Allow me to explain, Professor. You see, I was waiting here in case you made it to Ishgard before my manservant and Satora could locate you. Think of the confusion had you arrived here only to find the Athenaeum empty. Wait, how did you know I haven't opened all the gates? My grandfather is the greatest astrologian in all Sharlayan. There's naught he doesn't know unless he doesn't wish to know it. You of all people should know that. Perhaps I was hasty in my decision to remain here and see to your training. Train me? You? But what of Professor Mace? Isn't that why he made the journey? My grandfather has already completed his task. He simply came to Ishgard out of courtesy to an old pupil, one who it appears he wasted years on. Wasted? What are you implying, my lady? Ah, my dear Laviva, you still do not see it, do you? Without Janik Kanar stumbling into my tutelage nearly 2 decades past, he never would have taken this adventure under his wing and sent her to us in his stead. It was all as the stars had planned. Your soul crystal! Professor! This adventure has stolen your soul of the astrologian! Ha! Ever the unobservant, Jan? If this adventure had stolen my crystal, Laviva would have read up some terrible fate for the lass. No, Satora is my successor, something I mistakenly thought you might be, but even I cannot see every future, it seems. But do not despair, I have not given up on you completely. Despite your failings, you have tried your best to promote the Sharlayan School of Astrology here in this den of fools who fail to see aught and all beyond the Dragon Star. I wish to see you continue that fight, and that is why I have bade Laviva to remain here and further your, and this adventure's, training. I see see. This is all rather overwhelming. Might I have some time to consider your words? No, you either continue your training with me and your protege, or you crawl back to obscurity. I shall give you both several turns of the sun to study the basics of Charlian astrology. It should not be so hard for you, Jenna Kennard, considering you've had a substantial head start. Once you have committed the basics to memory, then return here. In the meantime, I will be traveling Eorzea, searching for locations where Satora, and you, will unlock the remaining Heaven's Gates. But you were only recently set upon by bandits. Perhaps traveling alone so soon is unwise. Don't you think I know that? That is why you will be lending me the services of your able manservant Quimbrain. I will? I will. Yes, of course, Lady Laviva. Anything for the granddaughter of Charlian's finest professor of astrology. Quimbrain, you heard the lady? Very good. I shall see my grandfather to the airship landing now, but rest assured that if you neglect your studies, I will know. Don't worry, I'll be practicing. I clearly need it. All right, rough start. Not with the job. The issue is not necessarily with the job, though it is a little bit much to introduce all at once, to be fair. No, just like, it doesn't click with me that well compared to other jobs, and that's fine. I will get the hang of it. Also, like, the main issue with that solo duty is just it's a healer solo duty, and targeting your allies is annoying. Why is it so bad? All right then. Eventually, they might hopefully fix that. It has been a long-standing issue. They've been doing a lot of quality of life in Dawntrail. There's only one major patch out right now, but there was a lot of quality of life in the 7.1 patch. So, fingers crossed that they had more quality of life in the future. One thing I'm really hoping for is an ability to turn off battle effects, not from you or your party members, but from like the bosses, which I don't believe that is an option right now. Because while it doesn't affect me, it does affect a few friends who have photosensitivity and epilepsy, and it makes certain fights very dangerous for them. Like, physically, health-wise dangerous for them. So I would really love to see an option to turn off those extra battle effects which are unnecessary and just add additional strain to people who are dealing with health issues like that. Anyways, that's a conversation for another day. There's a lot of quality of life this game could use, though they are definitely making progress, it seems like, from what we've seen in Dawntrail so far. Anyways, rambling aside, next time on Final Fantasy XIV. The Hall of the Novice got a major upgrade. Everyone should take the new Hall of the Intermediate challenge. And that's what we'll be doing next time. I'll see everyone next time for that.